Okay, I got a little tip for you. I'm working on a 2005 Infiniti that my son Shane bought. He loves these expensive vehicles, and so I decided that this one needed some wheel bearings. So I decided to order some wheel bearings, and on eBay they were only $45. And I didn't want to take the wheel bearings off until they arrived, of course. And that was part of the problem, but it was only part of the problem. So once we got the wheels off of the vehicle, I noticed, or Chad noticed, and pointed out to me that somebody had already worked on this Infiniti because they had used 2005 or they had used 10-penny nails instead of cotter keys when they had worked on it before. And what the problem was a combination of the bearing, and it was also hub travel. The bearing, you won't be able to see it much, but there's the slightest little play here between the hub and the bearing. And that's probably meaning that the back of the hub is damaged. It looks like the vehicle had new brake pads and new rotors on it, but they had been replaced before. And what the problem that was causing the rotors and the pads to be replaced before was this hub and bearing. The hub is worn out as well, and so instead of $45 for a pair of bearings that I thought we were just going to press on to the hubs and be done with it, not the case. We had to go back and order hubs and put on there as well. And now we're up to $300 for hub and bearings instead of just bearings. So note on these 2005 Infinitis, if you're having, there was bearing noise, but it was also having rotor travel. The rotor was wobbling on the hub here and causing the noise, as well as the bearing has a slight noise, but most of the noise was coming from rotor travel. And so the hub is worn as well as the bearing. So be careful if you hear a bearing in an Infiniti and you start to fix that bearing, you might as well go ahead and order your hub and bearing assembly, because the fact of the matter is most of the time the hub may be worn out as well, and you've got to press it on and off. By the time you go to all that work and risk, you might as well just go ahead and get the assembly. It's about the same amount of labor to do it, so just get the hub and assembly and be done with it, and put it aside. So now we're waiting another 3 days for the hub and bearing assembly to get here.